me say this about Cam Skattebo first, because I kind of have a different. I think people are kind of caught up in the moment with Skattebo.
Skattebo.
Will you do the fandango? Send a bolt of light. He's a phenomenal college football player. Okay, he is a phenomenal college football player, and some of the things you saw, he doesn't skip leg day. That's number one. That's why I'm sure you love him. He doesn't skip leg day. You know that. Hard to bring down, runs really hard, can do a lot. He is a phenomenal college football player. I don't know that he translates to the NFL. And I've seen some people and scouts saying, oh, you can't bring him down. That's a big trait to have. Of course not being able to get brought down is a big trait to have to the next level. But he's someone who is undersized and not fast. And that's the thing, is that you can be a not fast running back if you're big. You can also not be a big running back if you're really fast. You can't be not big and slow, right? That was the whole thing that happened to me in football. I was like, hey, boy, I was short, but boy, was I slow. And Skattebo is someone that the next level, he's going to get swallowed up because everybody tackles in the NFL. Because guys say, hey, I either feed my family or I don't if I make this tackle, right? You see once in a while, boy, that defensive back really not interested in making that tackle.
Business decisions.
No, he make tackle. I don't see him getting separation. He's a guy that'll be a fan favorite on a team. He'll play special teams. He'll maybe get a couple of carries, maybe at the goal line. He can kind of be that fullback sort of cult hero that people like, that will do anything for the team, and I can see people buying his jerseys, but he's not going to come to the NFL and be a star. He's not fast enough, and he's not big enough, and he's going to get swallowed. You try to give him the ball running a sweep, I don't know if he'll get past the line of scrimmage. I mean, this is how good the defenses are in the NFL. Yes, I get that they couldn't bring him down. This is college, okay? It's college. This is not the NFL. Again, this is not where I feed my family by knocking your ass out behind the line of scrimmage. That's how I feed my family. A defensive back is not feeding his family by tackling you or not tackling you. It's going to be a different thing. He's a fun player to watch. He's very aware of himself being a star. He loves the spotlight. It's awesome. He feels comfortable in it. His dad, it was fun seeing cutaways to him during the games. But when it comes to Skattebo in NFL, I'm much more bearish on him than I am bullish.
Yeah, I mean, the curiosity becomes, how do you use him at the next level? Because his measurables, 5'11", 215. Bijan Robinson's 5'11", 215.
Yeah. Bijan Robinson's a tiny bit faster.
Just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit faster than him.
Wanting to do the 1-for-1 of guys. And look, we'll try to figure out the database of other guys that measure the same. But, you play a step slower, but power comes into play, and short yardage, goal line situations. To Frostberg's point, the fullback position, because with the running game being back in vogue and trying to do more play action and keep your quarterback from getting killed and having a capable blocker back there, perhaps that's where he settles in a bit. If nothing else, he gets the Tim Tebow effect to a degree of you'll have the notoriety from his collegiate play. Right now he's embroiled in a bunch of back and forth in social medias over throwing up and having been out with his family before, and a lot of fighting and the firestorm that comes out of that kind of thing. But you'll have that cult of Skattebo that runs
Skattebo,
and a good locker room guy, a good leader, right?
Everybody, Skattebo.
But you saw what his coach had to say about him, like all the his quarterback and Levitt and everybody else, like just how much they love the guy. So that'll earn you the start in the NFL and putting up big numbers here at the end of your collegiate run on a big national spotlight kind of scale. So now it's just the curiosity of where you can go and what becoming a star really means, right? Because he doesn't have to be a 25 touch a game guy. Probably won't be. But how many guys are? Right? How many guys do we really see that in the NFL anymore?
But he's not even a thunder and lightning. Like you can't give him the ball. He's not fast enough. You got to be bigger. Again, you can be slow if you're big. You can be short if you're fast. You can't be short and slow. I'm sorry, you can't do it.
He's breaking the mold.
You can't do it.
His name is Scabo.
I mean,
he would break every Jets record.
You know how many records the Jets have? Not many.
And you know how many yards he would have on that defense?
On the Jets defense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all
right
of them.
now?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, sure. Yeah, not if Robert Saleh was
This guy
still the coach.
single-handedly almost took Texas down.
I know, it was awesome. It was up. But there's thing about playing at this level and then trying to get to the next level. We see guys all the time, and they play in the playoffs, and they have amazing games. Oh, look at this, 16 tackles. This guy, I don't care what you say about his size, he's going to the NFL. Then he doesn't even get drafted, and he's not even in the league in a year. Like the jump is you have to be able to be that physical specimen. You can't make it to the NFL on guile and guts and stuff. This is not 1975. Where this is a little bit different. If you're not fast enough, you're not big enough. There, I mean, he's a great story, and I feel bad about saying, but I got to be realistic with how I think his prospects are, and I don't see him being that guy that translates.
2,300 total yards,
He's not Mike
24
Allstott,
touchdowns.
right? He's not Mike Allstott. He's not Peyton Hillis. Like, I mean, he's going to be Kyle Juszczyk. Like, that's
a hell of a career,
right?
though.
And if that's a career, but it's not. But Kyle Juszczyk is a guy you get in the 7th round. You pick up as a free agent. Like, that's like he's more Kyle Juszczyk.
But that's fine. That still projects to a long career. And if he's playing that position, guess what? Juszczyk ain't going to be the Pro Bowl fullback forever. So all of a sudden you've got, opportunity knocks. 45 catches this year, over 600 receiving yards. Yeah, he could very easily be that guy. Because I immediately started thinking about Allstott. But the explosiveness he had coming out of Purdue in those first few years with the Bucs was something different. Watching, the Big Ten back. No, nicely done. That's Frostberg. We laughed because he busted out a Goldberg reference, which normally leads to big fights amongst people of how good or poor a wrestler Goldberg was. If you want to chime in on that, at Swollen Dome for the wrestling takes, because he goes into locker rooms and he wants to fight guys who diminish his wrestling career. But either way, he did play football. He was a Falcon and all that stuff back in the day. But for Skattebo, yeah, it's trying to figure out what that role would be. Juszczyk, if that becomes the comp, then he's had a hell of a run.
Yeah, I mean, look, and Juszczyk is a guy that's made the Pro Bowl a bunch of times being a fullback, but he's not someone that, hey, he's changing the course of a game. He's not going to suddenly be a big superstar. It's not going to happen.
But big plays, big spots, and certainly opened his fair share of holes to make the offense hum. So, that becomes a pretty good career. But off of what we watched this year, I mean, 2,300 total yards, over 20 touchdowns. Going to capture the fancy of some coordinator's eye because of the shift that we have going back. And it doesn't mean quarterbacks aren't still a list, a number one of how you're building your offenses, but we did see a number of the complementary players where we've talked as much about them at times as we have, certainly their quarterbacks, and they're making their offenses move. So for Skattebo, I hope he lands in a place where he becomes that cult hero.